Yo.
Good morning. Good morning. Happy Friday. And we're back.
Dude,
Reed, you need to get more center because the video that we have is cutting you out on the left side, by the way. So there you go. There you go.
Like that?
Yeah. That's where you got to be.
All right. I'll sit down.
Yeah. Good morning and happy Friday, March 20th, 2026. Today we have 5 guests on. We've never done 5 guests in one episode, but they will be grouped. So for the first 30 minutes, Reed and I will be talking about whatever comes to mind in terms of freight. But then we have Hunter Arnold, who is the Executive Vice President of Agency at Freightflex. And alongside him is going to be Andrew Jackson Beall IV. And he is the Agency Development Manager, also at Freightflex. Following Hunter and Andrew.
Wait. He's the 4th?
Yeah, he's the 4th, yeah. Andrew
That's
Jackson,
great, man.
Beall the 4th.
I one day hope to have a 4th in my family.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Afterwards, we have Mark McCullough, who is the CEO at Gebrüder Weiss North America. Gebrüder Weiss is the oldest logistics company in the world. If you go on their Wikipedia page, they've been around since the 15th century, and they used to haul with horses from Milan to where was it? From Milan, I think, to Munich. They used to have a transport route.
Were they part of the Hanseatic League?
I have no idea. I don't even know what that is.
Bro, the Hanseatic League?
Yeah.
Dude, this is like European history 101, man. It was like mercantilism, the Hanseatic League, like trade between all the city states, like on the Baltic and on like the North North Atlantic. Like it was a whole, dude. I don't know if Poland was involved. But anyway, keep going.
Yeah, so with Mark, we have Kevin Sendre, who's a director of full truckload in North America at Gebrüder Weiss. So it's going to be cool to get someone from... We have 2 freight brokerages joining us today, and I feel like something we haven't done recently is interview anyone in freight brokerage. So they'll be good. And then following Kevin and Mark, we have Scott Cornell, who's the VP Transportation Risk and Strategy at Logistic. So Scott has a pretty interesting, I think, history and career, and he's going to get into the fraud that's been happening in the logistics industry. So packed show. We have 30 minutes of just Reed and I. So Reed, what are we going to talk about right now? What's on your mind?
Dude, not much is on my mind other than the Mid-America Trucking Show next week. That's all I'm really thinking about. I've got, I'm leaving on Sunday. We are convoying the entire truck parking club fleet from Tennessee to Louisville, including our new truck. Leaving here at the crack of dawn on Sunday because we have to get our vehicles inside the showroom by the end of the day on Sunday. So the show doesn't start till Thursday, but yeah, we've got to be there Sunday. So
wait, so you're going to be there 4 days in advance at the conference at the show?
Yeah. Well,
4
yeah.
What are you doing if you want 4 days?
We're just going to be, we got a lot of prep to do. Like Sunday we drive our Cybertruck and one of our Sprinter vans inside the show because we have 2 booths. We got a booth outside and a booth inside. The inside booth will have the Cybertruck and a van, and then we'll park those on Sunday. And then on Tuesday, we park our truck. We're going to have our new cab over. We're going to have the Dancing Trucker. If anyone follows the Dancing Trucker on TikTok or on Instagram, he's going to be at our outdoor booth. doing a dance party, a trucker dance party.
Okay.
And so that'll be outside.
Let me pull this guy up. What's his name again? The dancing trucker?
Yeah, the dancing trucker. He's like the coolest guy ever, honestly. We met him last year. And Instagram. Yeah, you can pull him up on Instagram too.
Pull him up on Instagram.
Yeah, he's a truck. He's a driver, and he just like got really into dancing.
Okay, yeah. He's got 1.2 million followers. Wow,
yeah, dude, he's a good
up too. Look at him.
Yeah,
he's tatted up.
Yeah, pull up one of his videos, dude. He dances like pretty much the same song. Like
I've never heard of this guy before, but okay, let's pull it up. So here.
Yeah. This isn't the normal song he dances to, though.
On the highway, engine humming low, coffee in his cup, radio on the go, steel wheels turning, miles ahead. But there's a rhythm in his heart, he's living in his head. When the road feels long and the world feels tough, he turns up the beat. That's more than enough. He's the dancing trucker, moving side to side. Boots on the pavement, joy in his drive. From city lights to open country roads, he dances through the day. Yeah, everybody knows.
This is like an AI song.
He's a dancing trucker, spreading love like fire.
I'm not surprised it's an AI stuff. Interesting. Okay, so he's gonna be at the truck parking club booth at Matt's. Okay, and he's just gonna be dancing. Is that what he's gonna be doing?
Yeah, he's gonna be hanging out. He's gonna be hanging out and dancing and stuff.
So did you reach out to him? Did you text him? Did you
we met him last year. We've been sponsoring him for like a year now, and he's gone on like these little tours where he goes to truck stops and dances. And we actually wrapped his truck, like his pickup. So that'll be there too. But he's a good dude. He's a super good dude.
He looks like it.
He's Chad's here. The squad's here. Yeah. Oh yeah. See that's you can see a bit of his truck. Yeah.
That's interesting. Like I think working with these kind of influencers in the trucking space, because like I've never heard of the dancing trucker before, and obviously you have because you're working with like trucking pages and stuff, and that's good. I mean that's cool. Like anyone else.
I mean, we'll have like dozens of trucking, content creators coming by the booth. Lombard, who runs our partner program. Oh, what's up, Lee? Yeah. Lombard runs our partner program, so he basically like has built, a program for driver content creators to like park at our locations and make content and stuff like that. And he's going to be live streaming every day in the afternoon.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, this guy gets with it, man. Holy cow.
He posts a lot because I mean this was literally 2 days ago, and look how many posts he's had already since then. He posts a lot.
Prolific output.
Yeah, I mean literally like it's just like nonstop posting. Which I don't know, maybe that's the right strategy.
Always be posting, dude. Always be posting.
Not posting enough.
Yeah, we aren't. That's for sure.
I'm talking about everyone though. I mean, go ahead.
I don't know. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. And on Thursday, the last 4 Thursdays. So Matt's for a little history here. Here's a little great internet lore. Matt's 4 years ago was, or no. 3 years ago, 2023 was the first time I ever met like Lombard and Justin Martin and Gord and Indie Trucker Chris and like all these guys that I'd met on Twitter. Like that was the first time we had all kind of ever hung out, and we hung out at this Irish.
You were there.
It was 3 years ago. No, 3.
Yeah,
it was the year
we met for the first time at Matt.
I know. So we've done an event on. It's called Patrick O'Shea's. It's just like an Irish bar downtown. In the last 3 years, we've just like kind of shown up there, kind of like what we did in at Inlands, where we just like show up to a bar and take it over. We basically do that in Louisville at Matt's too. So anyway, so that'll be on Thursday. Cool. And then there's an auction on Thursday night as well for St. Christopher's Fund. And we've donated a Traeger smoker that Hunter is like turning into a truck parking club smoker. Okay. It's going to be, I don't know what it looks like yet, but it'll probably be outrageous. If this backdrop is any indicator. So yeah, man, it'll be a lot. And then straight from there on Sunday, the next Sunday, I fly to San Antonio to immediately set up a booth to do the IWLA Warehousing Association conference for 3 days after that. So it's gonna be a long. Long.
So Sunday you fly to, or you drive to Louisville. You're there for until Saturday. Until
the following Sunday, and
so
then I've got
a whole week in Louisville.
Yeah.
Okay. So I actually, this is good that you're bringing this up because the magazines, I'm picking them up on Monday, and then I'm shipping them to you. And I don't know when they're going to arrive, but I think I should probably put the address as the Truck Parking Club headquarters, and then have like Noah's going to be there.
Nobody's going to be here.
No one's going to be the Truck Parking Club headquarters.
Send them to my house, dude.
Okay.
Yeah, send them to my house.
And then you're going to be okay. So it's okay. So we might get a little bit delayed in terms of sending out the magazines a little bit, so people will receive it in early April, which is still fine.
Send it to my house.
Okay, because April 8th, I'm flying to Chattanooga. I'll be April 8th in Chattanooga, and we're doing an event April 9th, and that's in what? That's 20 days away.
That's in 3 weeks.
Yeah, 3 weeks yesterday.
We got to plan that, bro.
I know, dude. We got to plan this meetup. If anyone's listening from Chattanooga, April 9th, we're doing a special event with the launch of the second edition of our print magazine. You could all subscribe by going to print.freightcaviar.com. We honestly, if you receive it and you don't like it, we'll give you your money back. So there's really no risk here. But we're going to do an event on April 9th. In Chattanooga with the launch of our second edition, and then we're doing a road trip. We're doing a road trip all the way to Phoenix, which is going to be quite interesting. Birmingham, Alabama, Dallas, Texas, Austin, Texas, El Paso, Texas, someplace in New Mexico, and then Phoenix. That's going to be a fun road trip.
Yeah, I know, dude. We've it's going to be a busy couple weeks here for me and for us. Yeah, I mean, because you basically get here in 3. Yeah, you get here in 3 weeks, and then so it'll be there's gonna be a lot going on. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun planning out this road trip. It'd be kind of cool to like plan this road trip and our third edition of the magazine in public. You know,
dude, just live stream the whole thing.
Live stream. So we just completed our Freight Alley edition. So the second print edition of Freight Caviar, it's 80 pages long. The first edition was 48 pages long, so it's almost double the length. And back in December, Reed and I traveled to Chattanooga. We interviewed Max Fuller, the founder of US Express. It got acquired by Knight Swift a few years ago. We interviewed David Parker, the founder and CEO of Covenant Logistics, which is also Max's stepbrother. We interviewed Craig Fuller, which is Max's son. And, I guess like, on the cover of the Freight Alley edition, we have Clyde Fuller, who is the father of Max Fuller, stepfather to David Parker, and Craig Fuller's grandfather. So we dived into Chattanooga, Freight Alley, what's happening. Reed is based in Chattanooga now, and I honestly I know you saw we put it together, Reed. Like it's a really
it's awesome.
Amazing edition. It's amazing. Like nothing like this has existed in logistics before, and we're creating that, and I think it's super exciting. But what happens now is okay, we just got this in the print shop. It's like I'm going to be picking it up on Monday, and then it's like okay, well now we have to work on the next edition. So we do it every quarter. So this is the spring edition that's coming out right now, and then the next edition is the summer one, and we have to start working on what's going to be the topic and the theme. So we've had a few ideas here, and I don't know, do you want to do like the freight freshman list for summer?
Only like I think the most important thing is the cover, and if we can get a dope freight freshman class cover, then perhaps I do think focusing on the people, the young folk, or not even necessarily just young, but just like people who are who've entered and are making splashes. Like I think there's a lot of interesting stuff going on. So I think there's certainly enough content for an edition on that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Keep going.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, other kind of themes. I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure.
Well, there's so many things we could do, right? And I think that's what's really exciting about this is like, if we wanted to focus on Elk Grove Village or Chicago or El Paso, Texas, or even like maybe not regions, like specific, like freight freshmen, like which young individuals in the logistics industry are like making a splash and like on the up and come up. But like we are going to be doing a road trip from Chattanooga to Phoenix, Arizona for Transportation Intermediaries Association, TIA, Capital Ideas in April. And, we already have a couple of people in mind for the freight freshman list that would be along the way. And it just depends like how big is this class. I think the class needs to have like at least 8 individuals for it to actually be a class. And it's like, who are these 8 individuals? And maybe we do like a survey, or I don't know if a survey is actually necessary. Like I think more or less we probably know who's on like, the up and come up in many ways.
It's I mean, look at, because our inspiration was that like rapper magazine, right? That does
XXL. Yeah. When I was a kid, I would always, every year it came out, I would look at it. There was like a classic cover where it's like Asher Roth, Kid Cudi, Big Sean, all of these. You're sharing my screen right now, Reed?
I'm not. I want to share mine. How do I take yours off? There we go. Oops. There we go. So like, which one are you talking about? Asher Roth.
Asher Roth, Kid Cudi, Big Sean. They're like you should put freight XSL freshman, Asher Roth, Kid Cudi, Big Sean. Who else is on there? There's a few big names on there. I mean, this was back in the day when I was listening to a lot of rap. So,
dude, I mean, there's a you got to get everyone in. I mean, all these people are in.
Yeah, so we're going to be at TIA in Phoenix. We could get this all together. We could put this together, and that's I want to get everyone on the same list, right?
Dude,
and we do interviews with every single one of them, and that's going to be the feature for the next edition.
Dude, the cover like just has to be outrageous. Like these are dope.
Yeah.
Look at all these. The Dirty Dozen.
You know what we have to do? We also have to get some merch out. Some Please Advise X Freight Caviar merch out. I think it's been a long time coming, and we need to work on something together.
Yeah. The demand is definitely at an all-time high for merch. I have kept supply out of the market for almost 2 years now, but we've been building demand. So I think we will sell dozens of hats if we. But I actually am more interested in shirts. I was wearing. I went to the bar last night with a buddy, Tucker. Shout out Tucker from Repower. And I was wearing my
shout out to Steve. Wait, Steve has a question. Is this an internal brainstorming session or Freight Gong Friday?
God, Steve, it is whatever we want it to be, man. I don't know what it is. We're just shooting shit, dude.
Yeah, well, we're gearing up here. We're about to have a lot of guests, Steve. So this is just I guess the warm up to.
We gotta get the juices flowing, man. This isn't. Yeah. You think this is just like plug and play, bro?
Reed, I just realized you look really like funny now because you look a lot smaller than I am, like because of the camera angle. Like I feel like I'm like towering over you. You either like need to like be a little bit higher and like zoomed in.
The problem is the tripod. Okay, I could zoom in, but I mean, there's so much going on in the backdrop that if I zoom in, like here, I'll zoom in. Hold on. All right, Steve is about to lose his mind when we start doing this.
Oh, that's better. That's much better.
Is it?
Oh yeah, so totally.
Oh, Yeah, except now you can't see the chair that's hanging off the roof. But that's okay. That's okay.
Wait, yeah. And now if you could just position yourself so that you're a little bit higher, so the camera, maybe put the tripod a little bit higher, because you still seem like a lot lower than I am. You know, like I feel like I could. It looks funny for me, but maybe others don't see it.
Dude, yeah, you know, if you could see my setup back here, then it would make sense to you. I've got the tripod on the desk, but behind a monitor, so I can see the screen here.
Yeah.
And not have the camera be in front, because I think that's really annoying. So was that better?
I think this is better. Yeah, I think this is better. I mean, anyone else who disagrees or thinks so, you comment please below. But we're getting a lot of comments today. Let's hear Alex Bates, 6 foot versus 5'11". Shout out to Alex. We got to get Alex on the show here. And then we have Indie Trucker. I want a freight caviar.
Yeah, the Tech Bro vest. Yeah, the Tech Bro vest is definitely a gap in the market right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude. No, we do need some new merch. I think I've been getting a lot of merch lately. I will say that this past week at the ATA show I went to in Nashville, the best thing I got was this. I wish I had it with me, but I got a mug that is like an actual truck, and I carried it around the whole day, and it was like the happy hour. So I had all my drinks poured in this like truck. And it was this company called DC Cargo. So shout out to DC Cargo. Everyone was asking me where I got it, so I just sent them. I was like, go to.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry, I saw someone subscribed from some DC yesterday to the newsletter.
Yeah, so shout out to those guys for having the best swag at that show. I did keep my mug. I carried it around the whole night. Every bar I went to, I had my drink poured into my truck cup, and it was good. So
it's a good time.
Yeah. So anyway, but more merch coming soon. Sure, we can brainstorm about that on a future episode.
So we also have Justin. Shout out to Justin, Super Trucker. His advice had looking at me from my closet like it's a Green Goblin mask. Well,
yeah, dude. So this hat. So here's my problem. I'm kind of a big head. My hats don't even fit me. That's why I always wear the visor. But the trucker hats, the Richardson trucker hats, do not fit me. Okay, they're too small. I have to go on one button on the back, which is annoying. But this hat, this shell hat I got at the show, they were giving these out, is an auto cap. One size fits most. And it actually fits me pretty well. I really like
that hat. Can you show that hat? Can you show it like closer to the camera? I think it's a really nice hat. It's like an old school shell hat.
Yeah.
And you got that at what show? Which show did you get that
at? In Nashville this week at the ATA TMC, the Technology and Maintenance Council. But shout out Shell, truck parking club partner.
Yeah, there we go.
So I'm repping Shell. But yeah, I do like these hats. So I think these hats are good. So perhaps we can use them.
So Steve also did write that this is why I like you guys, about the fact that this is an internal brainstorming session. Good morning, Andre. We have 7 minutes till our guest joins us. Let's see here. Also, projected fuel prices for Q4.
Wow,
Reed, what is
straight to the point, John?
Where do you think diesel's going to be at?
Man, Q4? I was going to wait till the end of the show to predict my diesel price for Q4, but I guess I'll give it away now. I have no idea. What is the price of oil right now for a barrel?
So I think it's around 120 at the moment, and Saudi Arabia said
104. Dude, look at what it's done. It's gone up a lot, and then it's gone down, and now it's at. 5 days. It's gone from. Yeah. It's gone up a lot. It's been in the hundreds.
Real quick, we have 5 minutes until our guests come on the show. Reed, I'm wondering. Okay, we could do a real quick projection, and then should we show like the funniest memes on Twitter this week from Freight?
Sure, do it. Yeah.
All right. My projection, like if this conflict ends soon, I think it'll stabilize and be somewhat near where we were earlier. If it doesn't stabilize, then I mean it's going to get quite drastic. But then we'll be in a recession, and once we're in a recession, fuel prices will drop. So yeah, I don't know. Well, it's tough to say. But John thinks it's going to be at 118. So that's his prediction. And then Alex wants to get you a bird's eye security solutions hat. Alex, this is a cool looking hat. I'm sure Reed will wear it. If it's not a cool looking hat, he won't wear it. So I guess please
better
advise.
Be cool.
Please advise a cool looking hat.
The most important thing is that it fits. It has to fit. Very few hats actually fit me well, right? So the fit is very important. It's got to be good for big domes. You need to accommodate the big domes. All right, share some memes.
Okay.
Sure.
Here's a meme I made literally like an hour ago. This was while I was working on the newsletter. Oops. How Dispatcher Svetlana looks at me while asking for $5 a mile. I know, Reed, you're a big fan of Dispatcher Svetlana memes.
Yeah, I am. I mean, everyone who's ever booked a truck or worked in carrier sales or called a carrier or gotten a call off the load board has talked to her. She's very convincing, and she's definitely probably one of the better performing dispatchers in the office. And so everyone gets it.
Yeah, I agree. So that was a good meme. This one was last week, but I don't think we ever talked about it. But it's Leonardo DiCaprio right here.
Yeah. That's good. I like that one.
Yeah. Let's keep going. Okay. Yo, Walmart airdropping these snacks like I'm a paratrooper in Baston.
Oh, dude, Bastogne is anyone who's watched the Band of Brothers. That was a famous World War II battle where they were like stranded in the. They were like stranded in the woods for like a long time, kind of like pinned down, and they were getting like airdrops, right, of supplies. Yeah. And now we're just getting airdrops from Walmart, I guess. So it's like
is this the future of transportation? Will it just go from DC to the consumer right away?
Man, well, yeah,
maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. Like, if you could literally just drop off, like, why would it have to be at the store? It could just be shipped from the DC. I guess there's fewer DCs, so that's the point to argue.
What did she even order? What's in there? What is that? Is that meat?
It might be. Let's see here.
No, what is that?
Cashews, and some pistachios.
You need that cashew airdrop immediately.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see this because I know like we've had a few times in like our newsletter where we've actually like talked about this because there are like a lot of investments being made in like drone technology.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's quite interesting. Okay, let's see here. FedEx raised its full-year profit forecast, signaling that the courier's plan to restructure its delivery network is gaining traction despite geopolitical conflict and economic volatility. I need to go and I need to ship all these magazines via FedEx to you, by the way, and I got to get a quote. If anyone has ever worked with international air freight and could help me out, I need some help. You could email me at paul@freightcabaret.com for next week. But okay. What freight take has you like this?
Let's man,
here. I saw Ken comment.
What did people say? What did people say?
I want to pull up. What did Ken write? 1 second here.
He was up there. ELP. You passed him.
ELP. Okay, ELP is in a top 5 issue in trucking, and
that's been his take since like the beginning. He's been saying it's like a nothing burger all along.
Eric's reply.
Yeah, tasteful. That was good.
If you were to bundle ELP and non-domiciled CDL reform, would that make your top 5? I don't think it's a stretch to say that there are 2 elements of a single driver supply issue resulting from compliance and safety enforcement reform.
Barry is fat with the fire comment.
Yeah. And so Ken writes back, ELP plus non-domicile CDL plus general ICE pressure plus overall immigration rhetoric is top 5 for sure. I think the CDL issue has the potential to be most impactful if fully passed. Great point. Fair. This is Barry's response. Fair. Those will impact the for-hire truckload segment more than others. I think most of the heat you catch comes from those living in that space. You can't convince folks who spend nights in truck stops that enforcement won't reset the market. So let's see here. There's another comment. Thank you. We completely forget that truckers in Europe operate safely every day in countries and languages that are different from their own. The ELP issue is just being used as an anti-immigrant wedge. That actually is honestly very true.
Yeah, it's I don't, man, I just have no clue. I have no idea. That's what I like to say. I really don't know.
Sure. All right, it's 30 after. Let's bring our first
all right, brainstorming session over.
Brainstorming session is over. We are back to Freight Gong Friday. Oh wow, I just lost my screen. Reed, I need your help. Okay, now I got it back. Sorry. It's weird having this TV screen in front of me.
Are we good? Chat?
I think we're good. And I'm gonna get this. So Hunter and Andrew.
How you boys doing?
Good morning.
Good morning to you. Paul, what time is it where you're at, man? 2 a.m. or what are we looking at?
It's 2:30 p.m. right now.
All right, p.m. Wow, man.
Yeah,
right.
It's actually, we only have a 6-hour time difference between Central Time and where I'm at right now in Poland for the next, I think, one more week. We've had it for ever since you've gone on the summertime or daylight savings time has ended. We've had there's a shorter gap between us essentially.
Gotcha. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So where are you guys?
So I'm based in Knoxville, Tennessee, and so and Jackson's down in our Charleston, South Carolina office.
In Charleston.
There we go, baby.
Yeah.
We got a couple. I'm in Chattanooga.
Oh yeah. Awesome. Okay. What's the famous fried chicken place, man? That's got the wings there. It's in Chattanooga. It's
man. You're asking the wrong guy. I'll be honest.
Oh, you're not the guy.
I'm not the guy. I'm not the guy.
Okay, you're not the guy.
My answer. Yeah, it's not Champy's, is it?
Yeah, Champy's. That's it. Champy's. Okay. That's what everybody goes with.
You are the guy. You are the guy.
Maybe I am the guy. I have been there. I have been there.
You've been there. That's it. Awesome, man. Love Chattanooga. That's great.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Yeah, go ahead, Reed.
What's going on with you guys? What's up?
Man, it's good right now. So it's been great, man. I mean, for us with we're agency focused, and 2026 is looking like with what's going on in the market, it's brokers strive in these kind of market conditions, and so we're seeing it full-fledged. And a little bit about our business is we're spot focused, which is great. And so ultimately, for our business, that this market breeds success. And so just excited to join you guys today, and been looking forward. I know we've done some stuff with Paul in the past and been a partner with you guys for a year now, and looking to continue to grow. Jackson's on our agency development team. He heads up all the success of the agents, and we're excited to be here, man.
We are.
Yeah. I think the agency model is quite interesting and not really known to like a lot of the W-2 people. Like, Reed, I'm curious for you, like when you were a broker on W-2, did you hear a lot about like freight agents?
No, I mean, my only exposure to it at Echo was I know Echo had acquired or had a couple like agent offices, and they were always like the random guys I could never get a hold of if I wanted to like move their loads, and they always just did stuff a bit different. So that was my only exposure. But I did briefly shout out Rob Liss from Maca Logistics, who's an Armstrong agent.
Yeah,
I did briefly. I did briefly spend some time just doing 1099 stuff with him. So I did get a little bit of exposure to the cradle to grave. I had like 2 customers, and And honestly, like this was in 2021, and I did find that lifestyle like to be pretty exciting if you like actually were a hustler. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can go out and it did help that I had carrier sales experience because like I figured I found it like pretty easy to like talk to customers and like give them like solid rates because I actually understood like what moving the freight would be like. So it did lend itself well to doing that job. But it is, I mean, I would, if I were in sales at a brokerage, at a big brokerage, and I wanted to keep doing it, but I wanted to like have more control, then I would definitely consider it as an option. I don't know why you wouldn't.
Yeah. 100%. And like you said, it really does come down to who's self-motivated, right? I mean, our catchphrase is, you know, we look at agents and they are business owners, right? And that's what they are. And so we are, our team is basically helping them. They're here to help them become successful business owners. And so they're building business within Freightflex. And the biggest thing, like you said, it comes down to self-discipline. You know, if you don't have to, you know, have your team leader call you at 8:30 wondering where you're at because you overslept the night before drinking too hard, you know, then it's, you know, there is there's no days off, but you know, the success is that you get to make more percentage with having all of the resources, you know, that being an agent, you get to be your own boss, build your own brand. And so yeah, that's pretty much it, man. That's awesome though. So he's at Armstrong. So you dabbled a little bit with Armstrong?
Yeah, I did very briefly, but no, I mean, and I also think, yeah, I mean, just, you know, eating what you kill. I mean, when you're in a brokerage, you kind of do that, but like when you've got to get the customer and you got to get the truck, you know, to your point, like if you need somebody to crack the whip on you, then it's not going to work. But like, if you can go out and figure it out on your own and you like that sort of hunt, then it seems like it's a good opportunity.
Yeah.
And you don't have to have like 1 million customers to be successful either. No. So I think that's what makes it interesting too, especially if you're good at getting deep with a couple people, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Relationship
I mean,
based.
I had a brokerage for a few months, and this is I opened a brokerage after leaving a brokerage, and I was you know, the director of operations at a fairly large you know, company, mid-sized brokerage, and I had this you know, belief that I could run my own brokerage on my own, and I had actually never heard of like the freight broker kind of agencies that were out there because I was only a W-2 employee, and it wasn't something like I ever crossed like paths with. And then it's interesting because like I open a brokerage and I'm like, wow, this like, you know, the back office stuff, like running a brokerage like sucks. You know, like it's you got to deal with, you know, first of all, cash flow, like waiting 90 days to get paid, whereas you're paying out the carrier within 30 days. You have no credit score. It's like there's so many like I guess tasks and things that you got to be like, you know, under control, that it honestly just sucks. And so I ended up like closing it down, even though we had a couple customers, and we like revenue wise, it wasn't that bad. I was like, I just didn't want to deal with all this. And I'm sure if I actually wanted to get back into brokerage, like the agency is a lot of an easier route where you essentially, if you have the customers, you handle the customers, you move the freight. And then what's like the split like right now, like 70-30?
70-30, 70-30, correct.
So you're paying 30% and you get all the back office basically taken care of, right?
And all
you get all the tech
too. Yeah, all the tech stack, which, you know, that's what a lot of people don't realize. It's like the tech stack adds up, right? Like, I mean, that's the name of the game now. And you have to, sadly, with what's going on in today's world, if you don't have the tech stack, then you know we all know what happens, right? And so we have to have those tools, and you know, we want to put those in our agents' hands to you know, allow them to be as successful as they can. And so, you know, we're constantly adding new technology, right? Like an agent might say, hey, we need, you know, we're looking at this, we need this, and we assess and say, okay, ultimately, yes, we think that that's going to benefit them in their business, so let's pull the trigger on this. And so, yes, and agree, you know, it comes down to a lot of people just think that it's just moving loads, putting a POD in the load, and that's it. Sadly, that's not the truth. You know, the entire back office thing is that's a beast in itself. You know, collecting the money is probably the hardest thing, right? So
Yeah.
that's the
What does one need to like get started as an agent with y'all? Like, what is the process?
So we kind of take it a couple different ways. We have a website. We get a lot of inquiries through our website. There's a formalized form. Honestly, we've taken a different approach, and we've taken, through LinkedIn is a lot of what I've been encouraged to do since I've been here. So it's a lot of fielding inbound requests from LinkedIn. The first 6 months over here when I started working with Hunter and our vice president Bree was a lot of outreach and a lot of cold calling. It was cold calling brokers, which was a super fun experience, let me tell you. But no, it's, we have people reach out to us on LinkedIn. We have people come in through the website. And, it's one of those things where it's a transparent process. It's about educating. We don't want people to feel like they're getting the wool pulled over their eyes when they're taking on a venture. We take agency very seriously because at the end of the day, it is 1099. It's eat what you kill, right? So we never want to take on someone that we don't think that we can set up for success, right? Because it's a matter in some cases for people putting food on the table, right? We don't want to, hey, you're going to do great. You're going to make millions of dollars if we don't truly believe that they're going to do that. And that's why I think we're
wait. So you don't get a G-Wagon like a month in?
First day.
Yeah,
it's actually part of the tech stack.
Yeah, that's right.
That's part of the tech stack.
Day one.
Yeah,
no, but for a guy that's got, a tenured, and I think we are very rigid on it, you've got to have cradle to grave experience, right? You have to have both pieces of the puzzle because you are responsible for it. You are a business owner, you're self-starting, and you've got to be able to sell it, but you got to cover it. And I think especially in this market specifically, having, either being a strong carrier guy or having a strong carrier guy you can bring with you is going to be critical because, we're all watching it, tender rejections through the roof. Carriers are getting back what they've been lacking for the past 5 years, and you can't just do one piece of the puzzle, right? You got to do both sides.
Mm-hmm. Sure. I'm curious if we could dive into a little bit of the story behind Freightflex. I'm curious about, when was it established, and like I know we've obviously talked in the past, but I'm curious if you could give us the cliff notes on it.
Totally. So, actually, it's funny you say that. Today, we're marking basically our 5 years. So we've been in existence since it's been established. And
we need a gong, Reed. We need a gong. We should have hit
a gong right now. We do. We need a gong right now. So, and it's been. Go ahead.
I'll hit a gong, but keep going.
Go ahead. Hit the gong. No, go ahead.
I'm gonna go on FreightGong.com. 1 second, my mouse. I gotta find my mouse.
I'm gonna hit the gong while they're here.
Yeah, FreightGong.com. Here, I'm going to share my screen real quick.
This is the advantage of a cloud-based gong. You do not need it in your office. Do y'all provide gongs to your reps or no?
You know what?
Is that part of the tech stack?
I'll make an executive decision. We're going to start providing gongs, dude. That's what we'll do. That's little desk gongs. There you go.
All right, I'm going to hit it.
There you go. There it is.
There you go. Okay.
That's it. I love it. But yeah, no, we're celebrating 5 years, man, and great story. So we actually came over, and I was one of the first agents whenever I came over to the company. Our founder is Reed Rivers, and he was a freight forwarder mindset, and he came from the freight forwarder industry. A lot of my business was freight forwarding, and I like to tell people the buddy system is great because I actually came with one of my buddies, and we came over here together. He was really good operationally. I'm mainly focused on sales. And so we decided to come together and basically put something together and come over here. And at the time it was just a brokerage. And we kind of told Reed, we pitched the idea of agency model, because we've seen it before in the past. And so we joined in 2023, January 2023. And we folded in after a few months and became partners. So now it's me, Reed, and Tal that are partners in this. And it's had a good
I've got
success.
an important question, Hunter. How does Reed spell his name?
REED. Same as you, my man. Same as you. You guys would like each other. You would like each other.
You guys can stay on the show. If it was EI, we were going to kick you off. Okay?
You guys would like each other.
Not an EI guy.
Yeah, so that's
well. He sounds super cool. You sound super cool.
No, it's been great. It's been great. And so yeah, now we've done, so I head up more I'm over on the agency side, and then Talbert is running basically our internal brokerage that was our business, right? Myself, Reed's business that we had. And so yeah, so it's great. And we've been growing unison, and we're kind of, we feed off each other. And so it's but the messaging is simple, is that Freightflex is an agency, it's an agency first, right? A brokerage. And so we take a lot of pride in our agents. I tell my team that agents are treated as customers, right? They are customers to us, right? And so they're our customers, just like the internal brokerage is customers. And so we want to make sure that we can do whatever we need to do to make them successful. And so, yeah, it's been a great success, but we're doing it 5 years. I've been on since 2023. And so, yeah, we're extremely excited. I know Jackson's been with us now for, how long has it been, Jackson? 1.5 years?
Just 18 months. And then I was actually a customer of Freightflex's before.
They were. We pulled them over.
Business with Reed on the freight forwarding side as a customer for like seven years before that. So it's been a fun run. It's been a fun run.
And Hunter, you were at NTG beforehand, right? If I'm not mistaken.
I was, correct.
Yeah.
I was.
Cool.
Yeah, I was.
Tell us a story of being at NTG, and then I guess transitioning.
Listen, I'll tell you this, is that NTG, I mean, it was funny. I missed Kevin actually in Vegas, where we were at Manifest together. And so I ended up shooting him a text, and hopefully we can get together in Atlanta. But it's, NTG, and they taught me everything I know. I will give them the praise of everything, that I would not be here today if it was not for him. I'll tell you a funny story. I was actually I was a brand new broker, and I'm at Augusta National, and I had just started with NTG, right? Like literally just started. And I was there maybe like a month, and the Masters was going on, and my sister got me a ticket, so I just went by myself. And I hear, and I wasn't at his, I didn't make it to the training class because I was like hired in a different kind of air time. And so, but I hear this guy behind me, and I've seen videos of Kevin, and it was like, I hear this guy behind me, and I was like, well, who is this? And then sure enough, I'm like, it's Kevin Nolan. And I was like, oh my God. And I went up and shook his hand. I was like, hey, you don't know me, but I'm a new broker in Charleston, and it was a great experience. And then whenever he would come down to Kiowa, we would play golf, and so it was fun. So yeah, we always had it was a good time, man. I had a great experience at NTG, and think nothing but the best of them. And so they really did give me the tools to be successful. And so I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for them. So
do you think most, do most agents come through that sort of route? Like they do some time at a big brokerage, and then they find this route?
That's a great question. I think it's two things. I mean, I think that for especially NTG, you have the cradle to grave model. I think that you got to have some kind of experience, right? A little bit. I think that some customer facing experience, at least you got to have some carrier facing. And I think though the big box industry, big box brokers are the ones that typically, they're able to you learn so much from them. I think most of them probably do come from that route. You may have some guys that are like, a shipper or something like that might be able to figure it out. I mean, maybe Jackson might know. Do we have anybody like that really? Or
yeah, I think Hunter brought up a good point. I cut my teeth at Schneider National 10 years ago in carrier sales. And that's, right. If you can survive at a large brokerage firm you can hack it for 3 or 4 years, especially in a tight market. I think you're going to learn everything you need to know about the industry and then some. I think the majority of guys we do bring on are going to be, they're going to have to come from some kind of brokerage experience. We've seen people that try to come from a direct shipper or, maybe a freight forwarder or another side of the industry. And sometimes it pans out, but more than likely, I think it's understanding the grind and the hustle of what an actual brokerage role is and kind of the stress that entails in it. And also it's being able to, like Hunter said, have the tools. Like there's a ton of big brokerages out there that specifically split their sales floor for that reason. You've got customer facing sales and you've got carrier sales, but they don't intermingle them. And so there's, Schneider's one of them, right? They don't have cradle to gravers. They split their sales floor. I thought I was going to bring on a ton of agents from them when I came over because of my contacts over there. And it's like, ooh, that doesn't fit this model. You really do have to do both. But no, I think when I'm looking at candidates and we're fielding them, I mean, we're definitely looking for at least a couple of years of pretty hard-nosed brokerage experience, because that's what we know to be successful when they translate over. The guys that come over with that kind of pedigree and background, we consistently see success when they do move over to agency.
Yeah. I mean, I know for you, Reed, you were just a carrier sales rep like I was, I think, before going into agency model, but you didn't actually source those customers, or did you source those customers?
I did.
Oh, you did? Oh,
yeah. It wasn't it. I mean, it was in 2022. It really wasn't that hard. I mean, it was.
You got a truck.
Yeah,
let me onboard you right now.
But honestly, even then, like finding the carriers wasn't really like, bro. I literally just posted pretty much everything on DAT. It was all spot. I had no contract freight, and so when my customer would give me a load, I'd call them and I'd be like, yo, like, what do you got? Like, and they would tell me, and it would be like some shitty load. And I'd be like, yeah. Just, I don't know what we're going to move it for, but I'm going to go post it and we're going to find a truck. And I would always find a truck. And like 9 times out of 10, everything went pretty smooth. Like I didn't use it. I used, go ahead.
I mean, I have a crazy idea, so this might take a while if you want to finish your thought real quick.
Does your crazy idea involve like setting up like a meme brokerage, like meme agent, where your sales is just posting memes and ship posting, and then you live stream?
There's a lot of shippers that would want to work with you, and honestly, maybe there's a way here we could build a brokerage in public with Freightflex. So essentially,
we're open to it, man.
Would you like to talk agency, Reed? Would you like to get on a separate call?
We take a 30-minute segment of Freight Gong Friday where we just
try to cover loads.
No, well, first gonna get some freight from shippers, and then we got to cover it once we get it, and we do it live.
The thumbnails of like live streaming a brokerage would be so fucking funny. It'd be like, dispatcher Svetlana fucks Reed over, like takes load, doesn't have truck, like driver's still waiting on paperwork.
Has never screwed a broker before. Okay.
Yeah, you've never done it. That's right.
Dispatcher Svetlana takes care of the freight she has.
Reed, I got to ask, so when you were doing carrier sales, just because this was sticker shit, because I left the industry, so I did carrier sales, and I was a director of logistics and supply chain for 7 years. And so when I came up through carrier sales, it was outbound calls all day long, right? It was just hit the phone. When I came back into brokerage, working for Freightflex, I just noticed like everything's done via email now. Like everyone's just posting it. They're managing via email. Like there's not a ton of outbound calls until recently, right? December, January, market shifts. And now it's like, I kind of feel, it feels a little more brokery now, because now people are like banging the phones like, all right, dude, like I need to cover this load. Like this has got to get covered. Were you, and during that era, kind of COVID brokerage, was it just flying into you inbound calls, or were you actually having to hit the phones to cover stuff on the outbound side?
I mean, look, I did carrier sales from 2016 until 2021.
Oh, wow.
But we weren't allowed, we didn't have the load board for like the first like 4 years. Mm-hmm. Like we couldn't post loads on DAT, right? So we could see, like if we had a carrier in our name and they posted a truck on DAT, that would be fed into the system, but I'd still have to call them. You know what I mean? I couldn't post a load. But even then, like it was definitely much more call focused. I think the market probably had something to do with like people getting a little lazy about how they source capacity, right? Because you could literally just post it and carriers were needing freight, so they would call you. But like, I mean, the thing that like I did with a lot of phone, but I realized that more efficient I could communicate with a carrier like via GChat, or I know GChat's like banned now at all these brokers. Arrive just banned GChat.
They are,
like,
yeah.
I booked like all my freight on GChat back in the day.
Of course,
you know what I mean?
That was it.
Like I wouldn't, obviously you can't just like cold GChat a carrier, but like if I call them and I'm like, yo, dude, like, hey, you have this truck posted, like, do you want this load? Oh no. Oh, but hey, are you on GChat? Like, let's talk more, because they don't want to get a million calls. Like they'd rather just get a message. And so like, if I could establish a relationship, and have him send me his trucks every morning via GChat. That made all of our lives easier. So that was kind of the playbook, I think. But
the GChat days were crazy, man. I remember you would go walk over, because on the floor we had brokerage and then carrier sales, and you would walk over to the carrier sales group, and every single one of them had their GChat. They would have like 1,000 messages going through, and just this constant, man. And I'm like, oh my God,
it worked great for me. It worked great for me. I mean, I understand perhaps why there's some potential security risks, but like I never had any issues. I mean, this was a while ago, so who knows.
I have actually a crazy story about Telegram. So we started a Telegram channel for Freight Caviar back in 2021. And this was at a time where like DAT was crashing like once a month, and it was like the hottest market we've ever had before, like in like the history of logistics. And we set up a channel that was like for posting your loads, and also so it was for brokers and carriers. And one day I was just driving, and all of a sudden my phone just goes crazy, like insane. And I think we had like 10,000 messages in one day sent. On the freight, because like the DAT was down for like a few hours. It was a Friday, very hot market, and it was insane. But like then there are a lot of shady actors that are on Telegram right now, and then we've had people try to sell MC numbers in our channel, or like basically like hacked MC numbers. And so I mean, I think Reed, where we were at like 6 years ago, the industry's so different right now. Like, and it just. Like I know our rival Logistics banned them just because of some stolen loads that were connected to GChat and Telegram. So
yeah, RIP GChat. But just going back to that idea, I do think it would be pretty funny to try to like cover a load on the live stream and just like have it all be there. I mean, yeah, I mean, a lot happens. I think like literally, how like Barstool like basically live streams their office, like there's cameras everywhere and all that. Like I've always thought like maybe you wouldn't need sales if you set up the right brokerage where you just like had so much content that you put out that shippers were just like, yo, dude, like I want my freight to be on that show. You know what I mean? Perhaps it would work better for like like a more like B2C brands who are like heavy marketers. Like maybe Procter and Gamble wouldn't be super stoked about it, but like maybe some small,
I worked with a shipper.
Whatever.
I worked with a shipper from Northwest Ohio. It was an Amish family, and they would just take refurbished pallets, they would take used pallets and refurbish them. And he didn't have a phone. All he would always reply like from his iPad and just said send from iPad. And he was like one of the few customers I had, and it was like a really easy way to set up. I just sent him an email, got set up with him, and yeah, so like that's someone that could potentially make sense for it.
Yeah.
No, I think when you guys are going to do your cross country trip, you just need to stop at either our Charleston office or our Dallas brokerage office, and hey, we'll see.
Yeah, we're going to stop in Dallas. We'll be on our way from Chattanooga via Dallas, so we have to definitely make a pit stop at
pit stop.
Hey, we'll sit you on the floor. We'll get Reed.
Yeah, you'll sit you on the floor.
Reed's going to be there, right?
Yeah, he'll be there.
Okay, cool. We gotta go. Reed, we have to go to visit Reed, second Reed from Freightflex this is going to be, I think, on a Saturday or a Sunday while we're passing through. So I guess the floor won't be alive.
Perfect.
But we could get Reed in. We could do a sit down podcast with him. We'll have cameras. We'll have our videographer. We could sit down. We could record it together.
Save your hottest load to cover.
And
Reed,
we'll
save it. We got some hot ones, man. We'll let you sit in
Reed,
we should put the pressure cooker again. Yeah.
We should put Reed Rivers, the CEO of founder of Freightflex, on Freight Freshman list. What do you think about that?
I don't think he's a freshman, though. I don't think he's a freshman.
Well, he's a freshman on the Freight Caviar freshman list.
Okay, fair enough.
It's our first edition that we're going to do Freight Freshman. So
I meant to ask, how's the are you getting good feedback on the magazine? The magazine looked great. I mean, it was awesome.
The second edition is going to be great. It's in the print shop right now. We had a little delay on it, but I'm picking it up on Monday. I'm shipping it over to Reed. So people will start getting it early April, probably April. Like that's when the edition's going to start coming in. It's our spring edition, the second one. And yeah, you could check it out. If anyone's listening and wants to subscribe, print.freightcaviar.com.
That first one's cool. Yeah. We got a couple of copies on the floor right now. I'm staring at them on our Charleston.
That's cool.
Yeah, they were nice. They were really nice.
Yeah, it's only going to get better. We were discussing this earlier. We went to Chattanooga, or I visited Reed in Chattanooga back in December, and we interviewed Max Fuller, founder of US Express, David Parker, founder and CEO of Covenant Logistics, Ted Ailing, founder of Access America, and I mean, so many more individuals, Michael Caney, Jason Provencha, Chet Eichelberger, like the list goes on. And we interviewed them, and we put together this magazine, second edition, and now we're working on the third edition, which is going to come out in the summer. And we're going to be working on that. So I think we could do something with Reed when we're in Dallas for it, for the next edition.
Yeah.
We'll
make time. He'll make time. We'll make it happen.
Cool. Right. Hunter and Andrew, we got literally only a few seconds left here. We have a quick rapid fire close. Right. It would be great if both of you could answer separately if you want. You can also pass if you don't want to. But okay, so let's just say you're starting your career over right now. What would you choose? Being a freight agent or W-2? If you just have to start right now all over again.
Completely over? Go ahead, Jackson. Go ahead.
Agency. Absolutely.
I think
if I can retain the knowledge that I have right now, agency 100%.
If you don't have if you have the knowledge, got it. Okay.
If you don't have experience, or if you're saying you don't have experience at all, yeah. I would say, listen, hey, get your feet wet, go W-2 for a year or two, and then flip over to the dark side. And come over. That's what I would say. That's what I would suggest.
The dark side, baby.
Being honest.
Sounds good. Biggest lie told to new freight agents.
Oh, that there's completely no risk, or that there's no risk to them, or even, for instance, claims like one thing I will say, I'll give you this, is that a lot of agency models want to say that stolen loads are just that nobody pays for it. That's a lie. Like, that money has to come from somewhere, right? And so, being an agent, you just want to educate them, and you want to be. We're very transparent with our agents, right? Like, that's just a snake oil salesman tactic, is what I say.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think it's the ideology that you're going to pitch these guys and tell them that there's never going to be any chargebacks. They're never going to have any kind of financial exposure whatsoever. We try to minimize it for sure, but things do happen in the industry, and any program that says that there's no chargebacks or there's no money out anywhere during the course of their agency, I just don't think is an accurate statement. You can't predict that.
Okay. One trait that separates agents who make it from those who don't.
Grinder mentality. I mean, just absolute dogs. Absolute dogs.
That's it.
Okay. Cold call or warm intro, which closes more deals?
Warm intro.
Warm intro. Man, but I like the warm intro, but I'm also a cold call dog. So I like having 100 no's and then that one yes of feeling like yes, you know what I mean? So I don't know. That's just part of me. Sure. That's in my DNA.
Worst load type to book a business around? Is there one?
Hazmat reefer, or reefer in general. I think it's a tough market.
Yeah, I would say reefer's probably the tough thing. I mean, I would say reefer's probably the toughest, or overdim. I mean, but we have a good capacity for overdim right now. So yeah, hazmat. How about this hazmat reefer team, tanker endorsed? That's what you need.
You got to call Landstar for those. Landstar's got you covered.
Yeah, Landstar, and then they're brokering it out to somebody else, right? That's it. Yeah.
They got you covered. Cool. Hunter, Andrew, thanks for joining us today. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, guys.
And we got to connect to get interview
Thanks,
Reed.
guys. Take it easy.
Cool. Take care. See ya. All righty. Cool. And now let's set up a new. Sorry. What is going on right now? Sorry. 1 second. I got to set this up. And boom. There we go. Good morning, gents.
Mark, what's up, guys?
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
There we go.
How we doing?
Good. I've had Mark laughing this morning. I think he spit coffee out of his nose. Yeah, it's been a great show, guys. Thank you very much. We've really enjoyed it so far. So thank you.
All right. Well, let's keep it rolling. Where are you guys sitting right now? Where are you?
We're in Chicago, just the west side of O'Hare. Enjoying the springtime weather. It's on the way. What about you, Paul?
How close are you?
I'm in Poland right now.
Oh, sorry.
How close are you guys to Elk Grove Village? Are you guys right? Are you in Elk Grove Village? Or are you very close?
No. It's our next. It's right here, Devon Avenue, baby. I can throw a stone and hit the bar.
All right, so you're at the epicenter of.
What are you looking for in the EGV? We got everything out here.
All I know is that Elk Grove Village is like the freight mecca of North America, as far as I'm concerned. So
it's the freight capital of the world. I don't, you know, we have Freight Alley. Freight Alley is not the freight capital. Elk Grove Village is the freight capital. Undeniable freight capital.
Elk Grove Village, when I first moved to Chicago about 20 plus years ago, Elk Grove Village had the famous banner of being the largest industrial park in America at that time. And obviously it's been surpassed since then, but it is still a major freight hub out here. Yeah, absolutely. Woodville, Arlington Heights, the whole lot.
So this is interesting. I'm just gonna, I guess, interrupt you real quick. So Winger Marketing, which is what we work with, Winger Marketing, to get, and I know GW works with Winger Marketing, but we have on our YouTube style videos. It's a little bit tighter. We have a live shirt on a short. It says so it's move closer, but it might be uncomfortable close. Yes, so you might not want to get too close.
Listen, Kevin and I are super close.
There we go.
There's no problem for us to do this. But she's sending me text messages up until 8:31 on how to do things. I mean, she's stressing out this lady. I'm not sure who's paying who here.
The best kind of media training is on the fly when you're already live, somebody whispering in your ear. So you guys are doing great.
We really appreciate that.
Great.
Super impactful. Thank you.
So I think we should talk a little bit about Gebrüder Weiss, because there is a fascinating story here. Founded in 1474. So for over 50 years in business. And I've driven past, like I've done some road trips across Europe, and I've driven past Austria, and I oftentimes would see Gebrüder Weiss trucks and whatnot, and like I think maybe some warehouses. But so I see the presence in Europe, and then Gebrüder Weiss decided to expand into North America a few years ago. And Mark, you're the CEO of the North America branch. And then Kevin, you're the director of Full Truckload North America. I mean, there's a really cool story here. I'm just curious if maybe we could hear from you some of that and kind of dive into like what's happening. And yeah, so I'll take it from here.
Yeah, absolutely. No. Yeah, first and foremost, yeah, we are in Europe. Gebrüder Weiss is over 500 years old, family owned, Austrian company from the foothills of the Alps. 500 years of resilience, focusing on the customer and the staff, flexibility, innovation has really led GW throughout their 500 years in Europe. And about 20 plus years ago, we wanted to bring that to the States, and we opened as a former joint venture under Weiss Rolling. And that's how we operated until 2017. I was the CEO of the former JV before we split it up. And then we took Gebrüder Weiss independently in North America in 2017. So we rebuilt it. We took 3 branches from the JV and then rebuilt it into about 15 branches today and about 250 people throughout North America. But that was built primarily on air and ocean freight, right? So we built it on air and ocean. International business was the primary focus. We started our customs brokerage, right? Customs consultancy, contract logistics. And then, when COVID hit, it wasn't that we weren't focusing on the FTL market, right? We always wanted to invest. We just needed the right people, right, in order to do it. And our success has always been built upon our people. We have wonderful ideas every day, but if we don't have the right people to execute it, then it never works out. So we were fortunate enough to meet up with Kevin shortly after COVID, really. And we had a very extended honeymoon period, I guess it would be.
We took like 8 interviews.
Yeah, right. we very much believe in slow hire, fast fire, right? I think, your previous guest said, if you're not a grinder in the freight forwarding business, you're probably not going to last very long. So we met Kevin and we knew immediately that, he was a cultural fit, but then he brought that expertise to us. So really, as to expand the trucking, which is the core business of Gebrüder Weiss in Europe, certainly, to North America, we needed that expertise. And that's really where Kevin came in.
There we go. So 1474, if I could just go back, I know that I like history. I'm fascinated by history, especially European history. So back in 1474, and if I'm not mistaken, you said it's still a family-owned business to this day?
It is indeed. Yep.
So wow, so just generational. That's incredible. And in 1474, it was, I think the route was Munich to Milan with just a horse and carriage. Was that what it was like?
It was Lindau, but you're close. Yeah, Lindau, Germany to Milan.
Okay.
So it was actually
Alps.
sea freight first on the Lake Constance, which is the largest fresh body of water in Europe. So they actually took a boat to the Austrian side and then through the Alps into Milan, and that's how they went, carrying documents, treasures, various important things back in the day. There was pirates.
Yeah.
So you guys have been a DAT customer for a long time. Then you've been posting loads on the load board forever over there.
No, because they expanded into North America in 2017, right?
No. I just mean, what was the load board? What was the load board 500 years ago for horse and buggy crossing the Alps? Like, what was it? I mean, you guys have been early adopters of all of the logistics technology. I have to imagine.
Wait, but I want to get back to.
Tech was definitely different 500 years ago. I can tell you that. It was a lot simpler.
Yeah, it was probably an on-prem TMS. It was definitely an on-prem TMS.
I want to get into the tech stack.
AS400.
So you said it was, dude, from Lindau, Germany to the Austrian border. It would be like on a lake. I'm sorry, it was like
the Lake of Constance. Yeah, the Lake Constance. We got to get you over there, Paul. If you went through Austria, you didn't see Lake Constance, man. You guys are missing out, man. We got to get you.
I need to go there. Yeah, I need to go there.
Absolutely.
And then it went to Austria, and then it went from Austria to Milan, via the Alps. And there was no it wasn't via the river or sea or lake. Sorry, it was just via.
It was lake. It was horse. It was over the mountains. It was mountain passes. It was again, pirates and all kinds of issues, barbarians. I mean, you name it. Dude, 500 years ago, you had a few different empires to deal with, right?
Yeah. Nowadays we have cargo thieves, so we do have pirates nowadays too on the highways.
It's costing me a lot more today than it did 500 years ago. I can tell you that. So yes, it's certainly way more painful today.
I think that's debatable, Kevin. That's debatable.
Well, that's probably true. Yeah, you're right. I would say in terms of the monetary value, right now it seems to be a hell of a lot higher. But I guess it's because we're the ones.
But that's inflation. That's inflation.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to compare the tactics of the 15th century freight pirates with the tactics of modern freight pirates. Perhaps we could do a story on that in the magazine, Paul.
Yeah, I think that would be interesting.
Very little similarities there, very few. But I'm just assuming. I don't know much. We'll have to figure.
I think doing a story on Gebrüder Weiss in the magazine would be cool.
That would be awesome. We would really appreciate that, and we would ship your magazines for free if you do that. So we'll make a deal.
Oh wow!
Bring it out. So if you get a nice feature article, we'll ship those things from wherever you're printing them there in the east side of Europe, and we'll get it over here.
If we do that, the only way we could do that, Paul, is if we go to Lake Constance and recreate the original load using historically accurate equipment, and you got
to ride the horse. The clothing, yeah. There's horses.
Yeah, we got to do it. Yeah, we got to do it all period appropriate.
I'm in, Reed.
That's excellent. I am not, but we will go. We will certainly go and watch you guys do it. It'll be great.
Man, crossing the Alps. I know the lake is cool. I mean, I love lake. Piracy is great. But crossing the Alps in a horse and buggy would also be pretty awesome. Perhaps we could get
a season if it's summertime.
There was no buggy, guys. It was just sacks. It was just kind of sacks, mules. That's pretty much it. I mean, plenty of famous people have crossed the Alps, right? Think of Hannibal Hannibal was from Carthage. The Carthaginians tried to attack Rome, and they crossed the Alps with elephants in 90 BC or something like that. So
I think GW should change their story and say that Hannibal was the founder of GW.
I'll run that by the owner. I'll see what Mr. Weiss thinks, and I'm sure he'll take that up.
His family probably knew Hannibal. They were probably the freight broker for Hannibal, honestly.
There's probably some, yeah. There were some opportunities to cooperate with them. The Mongols, the Austro-Hungarian Empire. There's all kinds of history. I am personally from Northwest Ohio, so I'm from the flatlands. The Alps scare me. Even driving over the bridges are frightening for me. So I like my flatland area, glacier flatland areas.
I have a question about GW. Is it true that GW did 2.7 billion euros in revenue
last year? Yeah.
Last year. So it is it's a private company, but it discloses its financials. Wow.
We don't get down into the nets, but yes, we disclose the top lines. Yep.
Okay. Wow. 2.7 billion. That's massive. And then 146 million was invested last year.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Reinvested
where into the property. So that's primarily, that's also, it's expansion, right? I mean, we expanded into the Philippines and Thailand last year. We've also expanded, throughout, the US. We opened Phoenix again last year. So that is part of the investments as well. But a large portion of that is within Europe as well, reinvesting in terminals. We just built a massive auto store facility, 700,000 square foot facility, that's all run by robot spiders, just outside of Lauterach, the head office, in combination with our global partner Hilti. So there's a lot of investments. We also own the terminals, most of the terminals in Europe as well. So a lot of that is reinvestment into that. The equipment, most of the equipment now in Europe, we're 8,000 employees globally, but more than half of that is within Europe. So a lot of that equipment is leased today, but we still have some, trailers that they own. We still have to pay for parking in Europe. That's still an issue.
That's incredible. I mean, it's privately owned and it's been compounding for 550 years. And I'm seeing this, and I'm hearing about the story of GW, and I'm like, I'm quite bullish on you all. This is quite impressive. And but it's like, we were talking to Ted Ailing back in December, and it's basically just like play long-term games with long-term people, and like this is like a story of 550 years and compounding, and it's just like this I think we're about to see a lot more of GW. It seems like, especially with the investment.
Yeah, I think you're right, Paul, and I appreciate that. I think that the story of our success has been really simple. Again, focus on our people, focus on our customers, right? Make sure that our digital offering is appropriate, but when the stuff hits the fan, the loads go missing, the tariffs are changing every day. Your customers want to talk to professionals, right? Seasoned professionals. Efficiency, speed, that's nice, right? You got to have it, right? But certainly in times of such volatility, whether it's regulatory volatility, freight fraud, or whatever the hell's going on, the current crisis of the moment, if you will.
Sure.
We just focus on our staff, making sure they're educated and fully prepared to help our customers. And we're fully available to our customers. We don't have a huge management hierarchy. We make decisions fast. The team's been together a long time. I mean, Kevin's the baby at 4 years, really. Team, the youngest serving is 12 years with us. Up into 24 years. Daniela Worm, whom I've worked with for the last 4 years. So we're a close-knit team. We work hard, we play hard, and we don't take ourselves that seriously. That seems to also help consider in the freight business.
Yeah.
How is the expansion into the US gone? Obviously, perhaps there's an angle talking, when you cold call a shipper, you could be like, yo, we've been around for 500 years. You know what I mean? What is the movement into the US been, and how has that gone for y'all?
I would say, it's very difficult for people to pronounce Gebrüder Weiss. So that is the most difficult thing. What the hell are you? What are you doing?
Yeah, the umlaut throws people off.
Yeah, because the umlaut, I don't even know how to make that happen on a keyboard, so I don't do it at all. So again, we just say GW a lot here. So especially my colleagues in Texas, they only say GW. They can't say the rest of it. So We did it from the ground up, man. I mean, that was it. You know, we opened it in 2003 with 11 people in 5 offices, to give you an idea, right? I mean, they didn't exactly give us a huge budget to go out and make this thing happen. So we built it up from there to about a $200 million company over the course of what was about 14 years. So, you know, we had a bit of a presence as Weiss Rolling back in those days.
Sure.
And then that all split up, and then we had to rebrand and come out as Gebrüder Weiss. I would say, you know, the second time around was a little bit easier. We had learned a lot of, you know, tough lessons the first time around. So it was a lot easier in the sense that, you know, we knew a lot of customers, you know, we knew the program, we knew what we had to do, but we had to go out and rebuild the team. And that was really, you know, I think the most difficult, because for us, our culture is hugely important. You know, it's ensuring that the guys have a good environment in which to work. They've got good tools in which to work with. You know, the job that we do is an incredibly difficult one from top to bottom. It doesn't matter, you know, what part of the business. It's incredibly hard and it's stressful. So, you know, focusing on good environment for the people, you generally have fairly happy people, and the customers feel that. And, you know, we go out and we see our people. You know, we're on the ground, and I'm happy to say we know almost everybody's name. So, you know, that's out of all 250, most. But this guy keeps hiring many more. So it's getting hard to remember.
So,
well, you guys can imagine too what it was like. We built, you know, January of 23 is when I came to Gebrüder Weiss, and as you guys could imagine, the factoring companies really like stories and truck drivers saying, you know, hey, what's your MC number? Oh, we're a 500-year-old family-owned company, but the MC number is a couple months old, right? And that was we definitely went through the growing pains in the beginning, you know, but you know, having the Gebrüder Weiss name and the culture and the, you know, the long-lasting history that we've had, you know, we've been able to scale and grow really, really fast. So,
did you guys? I was gonna ask you if you you know, early days trying to build credit with the factoring companies or establish a credit history. Did you have to like send over some scrolls or something with like 500-year-old transactions on it?
We had tablets,
yeah,
big tablets.
Yeah.
It was like the Rosetta Stone freight transactions. Yeah.
I'm an international guy, you know, born and raised in this business, and you know, I learned so much, you know, from Kevin and the team. It's just a completely different world. You know, I mean, there's so much to know in international for sure. But then, you know, we would just call a broker, right, to get a load delivered or whatever, you know. And then, you know, when Kevin came, I learned, you know, quite painfully, you need to pay these carriers quick, man. You know, 24, 48 hours, you know, if you're going direct owner operator or factoring or whatever it is. So, you know, fortunately for us, you know, GW, you know, having such good liquidity, you know, we're able to manage that fairly well, but it's a whole different process. You know, airlines, we can pay in 30 days, steamship lines usually in 30 days, depending on the agreement. But truckers want their money, man. You know, they need to get their cash. And so we struggled with that in the beginning. I think Kevin for sure had difficulty getting carriers. I didn't even know that there was carrier sales in those days. You know, I just sales is sales. And I had to be educated.
Sure.
Yeah. And I mean, I think we were, you know, the timing of when we started this thing was right after the COVID kind of boom, right? And then everything kind of dropped, right? So, you know, a little people were skeptical, but in reality, it was the best time to build a brokerage, right? Everything was stable. We were able to make our tech investment in our people grow during this downward cycle.
We weren't profitable, to be clear, but we saw the trend. We saw the trends. So.
But you know, now everything is established. The tech stack's robust. We have the right people in place, and we've been able to, you know, now this market that we're in, especially ever since Q4 last year, right? Like we're seeing now that we are ready to roll. And everything's in line and in place to, you know, I feel like in a lot of ways we're just getting started. So it's been a fun ride.
It's been exciting. I think, you know, we're taking this product out to some of our global customers, you know, and we're proving that, you know, this product, although it's one of our newest products, you know, only being 3 or 4 years old, you know, is very, very relevant in the market, and that customers still want, you know, responsible, accountable, communicative, you know, freight partners, and that's what we do. You know, over communicate and just make things simple, simplify it as easy as we can in this complex world.
What are the other products, Gebrüder Weiss? Well, I guess what is the main product? And list if you could list them, like so FTL is one of the newest products. What else is in a mix?
Yeah, but it's also one of our. I mean, it's certainly our fastest growing for sure. I mean, we also realized in COVID, for that period of 12 months when there was not a lot of international coming and going, and yet America still ran. Right. I mean, we were in our own bubble, so to speak. And, we as GW really weren't able to take much advantage of that. Right. And, the truck guys went nuts. Obviously, the steamship line thing changed. We were able to make hay while the sun shone. But we realized then that, we really need to take that into our own into our own house and find the right people to do that. So Sean Yannick, our VP of development, who reached out to Kevin initially and made those initial contacts, as he does. And that's really where it started. And then, we were speaking to a couple different people. There was some people leaving your former employer at the time, but, like we said, Kevin was the fit. He got it, down to earth guy. And it's very clear that we made the right decisions.
Mm-hmm.
But listen, air and ocean, I mean, that built us for sure. So, I mean, I'm an air and ocean guy through and through. We do contract logistics. We've got facilities here in Chicago, Atlanta, down on the border, El Paso, Laredo, Salt Lake City. We're always looking to open, of course. But I would say that, this year, the last 24 months, our core product has been customs compliance. I mean, trade compliance. It's just, our poor customs brokers and, and customs entry writers. I mean, they've gone through the ringer, right? And that has been our biggest portion of the business, right? Because that's where the need has been, the greatest in this year. But, we've got highly talented professionals in every product line. And we go out there and confidently sell it all, including industrial projects.
So we have a few minutes left here. And I would like us, Kevin and Mark, to do a rapid fire close.
I love it.
Okay.
Let's go.
And you could both answer here. Yeah. Okay. North American full truckload market by end of 2026, tighter or looser than it is right now?
Tighter.
Agreed. Demand mixed with less drivers. I mean, it's for us, I think it's a nice recipe. Very much tighter.
Biggest mistake European logistics companies make entering North America?
I know that one. They don't put Americans at the helm. That's where they screw it up, I can tell you. And, UPS is a perfect example because back in the late 80s, early 90s, when they went to Europe, they put Americans at the helm and they were losing as much as they made in the US. So I think that, it can't be anybody. I mean, you certainly have to be culturally aware. You can't just be some dude from California and then, expect to work inside a European organization. But I think a lot of our competitors, we would call, where they fail is they they bring Europeans over to try and run the U.S. market. And I can tell you, we failed in that 3 times by trying to send Germans at the time to Atlanta to open Atlanta straight from Germany, and 3 failures in a row. So we learned from there. We sent a Cuban dude up and he did a great job. He's our VP of sales now. So, we got it all figured out. But I think European companies struggle. They underestimate the cultural nuances within the United States.
Yeah, they come here. They try to open a freight brokerage, and then they try to take the entire month of August off, and they're like, "What the hell? This isn't working."
Holidays are a big thing.
Right. That is when you have a lot less Serbian accents on the phone too. It's August as well. We all
all right, I'm gonna keep going here. One company in North American freight you respect the most right now outside of GW.
We can't choose GW.
No, we can't choose.
Who do you like working with?
Oh, yeah, go ahead. I mean, listen, we have a lot of similarities. I would say, one of our best partners out there within North America is Spartan Trucking, right? Carlos, Martha, and his crew down there in the Fort Worth area. Those are great partners of ours, and that just goes to show that you can be friendly competitors, out there in the world of freight forwarding, and both can win. We help him where they have some weakness, and they help us where we have weakness, and that's a hell of a good partnership, I would say. Spartan Trucking, Carlos Lalanas down there and his team, they're amazing partners to us, and really complement us very, very well.
And I would say our tech providers, right? Strategic partners that we've put together from our pricing tools to, TMS to, obviously we leverage highway as much as we can. I mean, to make sure that we're strongly vetting our carriers. So definitely our cross-border business with Matt Silver and Cargado. I mean, we love those guys.
Yeah.
There we go.
We're doing a lot in the AI space with Levity right now. A lot of our integration with Temper.
Shout out to Levity.
Unbound. But there's a lot of great guys out there, man. There's a lot of great companies, and it's a super exciting time in our business. I know a lot of youngsters in the business are nervous about the AI side of it and everything, but this is just enabling us to get out and actually talk to customers and talk to freight guys, right? And it's a fun time in our business for sure.
There we go. Asset or non-asset? Where does GW North America go in the long run?
Non-asset.
Non-asset. Okay. And the final question for today: 550 years from now, is GW still around?
Absolutely.
As long as humanity is, we'll be here. So I think
there we go.
If humanity is, then you're damn right, man. We'll be shipping those magazines for you, Paul.
I love it. There we have it. Well, Mark and Kevin, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, guys.
Pleasure.
Great
rest of your Friday. Take
care. See you, boys.
Yeah.
Money.
All right. Money. And it is 30 after, so we have our final guest. We have Scott coming on here. 1 second here. I'm going to need to take a restroom break here.
All right, you go first.
Actually, all right. Well, I'm trying to. I don't see Scott is not in the waiting room here yet, so we still have a few minutes. But should I just? Are you going to take over right now, Reed? Are you able to take over while I go?
Sure. We'll
make you forward.
There's a Stephanie Arpin.
Yeah. I think Stephanie works with Scott, but her camera's not on.
Stephanie, if Scott's there and he's on your camera, turn your camera on when you're ready, and I'll bring you up here. Paul's gonna go. I guess take a quick break, and I'll sit here and kill time. I wanted to share my screen and wait. Hold on. Before presenting a screen, remove other media. Oh, Scott. Okay, Scott, when your camera comes on, I'll bring you up, brother, if you can hear me. It seems like you guys are getting ready. I actually did enjoy that conversation with those Gebrüder Weiss guys. I think that's a pretty interesting story here. I wanted to try to share my screen and show what was going on with this lake over here in Austria, but I can't for whatever reason. It's not letting me share my screen. So, Scott, I don't see you yet, and for whatever reason, I can't add people to the stage. So, technical difficulties, but Paul will fix it when he gets back. I think I'll just do another brief plug for the Mid-America Trucking Show. If anyone is on the fence about going, if you're in the area, I think you should definitely try to make it out. It's essentially free or very cheap to get a ticket. So, Saturday is a big day for folks to bring their families, check out a bunch of cool trucks and see what's going on. Truck Parking Club, we're going to have a huge booth set up there. So we're going to have some exciting things to share there. So if you're going or on the fence about going, you should definitely go. It's going to be a good time. It is probably my favorite show of the year, and it's definitely our biggest show of the year at Truck Parking Club. And I know there's a bunch of folks listening in the audience here who are going to be there. So that's the first thing to pay attention to. Come to Matt's. After that, I'm going to the IWLA show in San Antonio. So if you're going to be there, look for us. We're going to have a booth. And then I'll be at TIA with Paul. Hey, Paul, I can't add anyone to the stage. I don't know why.
Okay.
So Scott popped in. I'm not sure. I don't see his camera. So
Oh,
I
there
would
he is.
assume.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here he goes. There he is.
There we go.
Scott, are you there? It's
Loading.
I kind of like how it's just loading. This has in the video. Alrighty. Cool. So, Scott Cornell. Let me pull up here.
Scott, I'm not certain if you can hear us at all, but perhaps refresh your screen.
Okay. While Scott gets loaded, Scott is one of the most respected voices in cargo theft and transportation risk in the country. Scott comes from the Insurance and Financial Risk Guide, which means he quantifies the full dollar damage of cargo crime, not just the operational disruption. He sees what theft actually costs in real numbers. So, yeah, I guess we'll be waiting here for Scott to join us any minute now. But Gebrüder Weiss, that's a cool story.
Yeah, that was cool, man. I do think it would actually be pretty awesome to go recreate the original loads.
We should definitely do that. We should do that.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
You got to come out to Europe when we have to go there. That's what we got to do.
There's lots of opportunities there to create some good content. Scott, we're having technical difficulties. Hopefully, I don't know if difficulties. Yeah. I'm not sure if he can hear us, but you know what? I've got a renewed sense or a renewed interest in talking about cargo theft. I was pretty tired of hearing about it, but I know it's a big issue and it's worthy talking about. But it's seemingly it never seems to go away, and it seems like it's only getting back. But the investigator guy we had a couple weeks ago, I thought that was super interesting. I know Scott's I know Scott's very knowledgeable about this, so I'm excited to hear what he has to say. Here we go. There we go. I see him.
There we go.
We got him.
There we go.
I was able to get the computer to work instead of the iPad. So
there we go, baby. How we doing?
Good. How about you?
Good, man. Good. Well, it's good. It's good to meet. I've heard a lot about you from my colleague Brent Hutto.
Yeah,
he speaks.
Didn't we meet at the National Summit in Kentucky last year?
I wasn't there. So I don't. You might have. You might have met some other guy. You probably met Evan from our team.
I've met Evan a bunch of times. Yeah.
Yeah. I figured. But it's good to have you on the show. I was excited to see you here. So Paul read a very lovely introduction for you. But if you wouldn't mind sharing from your own mouth, kind of who you are and what you do and what you've been doing in this lovely cargo theft space.
Sir, so thanks for having me this morning. Scott Cornell, I'm the Chief Risk Officer for SPG Logistic Insurance Services. I have about let's just say 30 plus years. I don't want to age myself as bad as I possibly could. About 30 plus years doing cargo theft investigations and supply chain security, and leading transportation divisions in the insurance industry as well. So it's a good mix. I'm also currently serving as the chairman for TAPA Americas, which is the largest supply chain security organization on the planet. There's 3 chapters. There's TAPA Americas, TAPA EMEA, and TAPA APAC. So I do. My company encourages me to do that kind of a thing, and TAPA's a fantastic organization. So between the two, that's what I do. I do cargo theft, constantly.
Scott, for being in cargo theft for 30 years, it doesn't seem like it's aged you very much. You seem like you've handled it pretty well. So congratulations.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that. I got a birthday coming up in about a week and a half, so I'll take that for sure.
So I guess that means that it's not as stressful as the brokerage world, huh?
It's stressful, but you have to train yourself early. It's funny. I've had a couple of people that get into this industry over the past, let's say, 5 years, right? And they're coming into a time when cargo theft is at record rates, right? And the first piece of advice I get them, I tell them is you're not going to win it all. You take the wins that you can get. Don't let it stress you out. It's a chess game. And if you let it stress you out, you'll slowly but surely start to lose more than you win, right? So you just have to stay kind of level-headed about it and do what you can.
You've been doing it. You've been doing it a long time. How has it evolved over your tenure thus far?
Yeah, there's been some big changes, right? I always kind of say there's kind of a surface level, if you look at cargo theft almost like a river that's running, there's a surface level that doesn't change, right? And then when you get deeper into it, a lot of it'll change. And that's really, we were at the Southwest Transportation Security Council Cargo Theft Summit yesterday, which is one of the biggest ones across the country. It's held at BNSF headquarters in Dallas-Fort Worth. Record attendance, packed, right? So that tells you something in and of itself, right? Almost every one of the major cargo theft summits right now maxes out on attendance. So what's changed? First of all, big economic or big world events will give us foundational changes to cargo theft. So one of the things I talked about at the conference, if you go back to 2008, when we saw the economic downturn, right? One of the big changes we saw there was they went from electronics being the number one targeted commodity to food and beverage being the number one targeted commodity, because we were in economic downturn and people weren't spending money on what you'd call luxury items. Well, that ended up sticking. They did that for economic reasons because they said, hey, we got to steal what people will buy. But they ended up realizing, hey, this is a really good commodity for us. The evidence is consumed or it perishes. If you're a cargo theft investigator, you maybe have a 4 or 5 day window to recover something that's perishable or edible, something like that. Some people won't even chase it because even if they recover it, it's going to be destroyed. So they learn like that and they adapt. So then from 2010 on, food and beverage remains the number one. That was a big change for the industry. So people were spending a lot of time protecting electronics, which you still should, but they were forgetting that it wasn't the most targeted commodity. Then we get to the pandemic in 2020, and we go from these small regional crews that had been doing cargo theft for most of my career that were pretty unsophisticated, only doing what we call straight theft. And we get these big international crews that start getting involved in cargo theft. And now that's expanded and it exploded. So now we see strategic theft, which prior to 2020 was about 3% of all cargo theft, is now at 33% of all cargo theft. So if you look at the CargoNet numbers, between 2022 and 2024, all cargo theft went up 93%, but strategic theft went up 1,475%. And strategic theft is when they use deception to trick you into giving them the freight, right? And so even though straight theft is still roughly 67% of all cargo theft, strategic theft is what's occupying everybody right now because there's 25 to 30 different methods. It's confusing. It's catching people off guard. It's a tough time right now for
25 to 30 methods.
25 to 30 different methods out there easily right now.
I'm assuming that the number of methods just keeps increasing.
Yeah, and we talked about this a lot. So myself and Gary Thomas from CargoNet did a presentation on day one called the state of the current state of the union, basically, for cargo theft. And one of the things we tried to get across to everybody is they're constantly pressure testing new methods, right? So that, you'll see the methods that you always see, like double brokering scams and the MC number fraud and all those. But in the meantime, they're pressure testing other methods like different techniques in email phishing and social engineering emails and hacking. Now we're starting to see some actual hacking, which we hadn't seen that much in the past. But just a couple of months ago, doing some cases, I uncovered a new method that we're basically calling the Trojan driver method, right? Which is a method that they've created to get around some of the vetting platforms that are out there in the industry so that they can continue to steal theft. And then they make it look like it's a straight theft. So it confuses people even more. So every so many weeks, you'll see them kind of pressure test new methods. And you'll only see it a couple times here and there, but if it's successful, then 6 months down the road, it just blows up. When you talk about the email phishing and the social engineering as an example, 2 years ago, you were seeing that once a month. Now it's every day, all day, right?
Mm-hmm. How obviously we could talk about the kind of the evolution of the tools that exist to help combat that, the vetting tools and the things you just kind of alluded to. I'm curious from the law enforcement perspective, because we had Keith from CargoNet on a couple weeks ago, and he kind of gave us a peek behind the curtain from the law enforcement angle. I'm curious from your perspective how law enforcement's kind of response to this or interest in responding to this has evolved over your career.
I think, quite honestly, there's a great deal of misunderstanding about law enforcement's level of enthusiasm about helping with this. I think, every once in a while I get a comment that, hey, I can't get law enforcement to help me on this. And it's really not any lack of interest on law enforcement's part to help with it. It's most law enforcement has never encountered cargo theft before. If you look at California, number one state in the nation by far for cargo theft my entire time doing this, right? But they have designated task forces. They have the CTIPS task force, they have the LAPD unit, they have the LAPD or LA County Sheriff's task force that does this. Those departments, those units are doing yeoman's work. I mean, they are recovering stuff left and right. They're hitting warehouses, they're busting up rings, they're making arrests, they're doing a fantastic job. But they do it every day. They understand it. So when somebody calls them and you say, hey, I've had a double brokering scam, they know exactly what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. Where the confusion comes in is when you get to law enforcement in Missouri that's never done cargo theft, never heard of it, and the person calling them can't really accurately explain it in a way that law enforcement understands what the crime has been, what crime has been committed. And that was something that was talked about a lot over the last couple of days at this conference, was how do we communicate with law enforcement? Because what I've found, again, I've been doing it a long time. I help train law enforcement. I work with law enforcement all across the country. I don't have any problems. When I talk to law enforcement and I walk them through what's going on, usually I find them very engaged, very anxious to help, want to help in any way they can. So I think it's more about a communication thing that the industry needs to get good at with law enforcement. I don't really find law enforcement to be uninterested. I usually find them to be very enthusiastic. Worked a case with somebody I work with over here in Arizona last year, and we reached out to a department that had never had cargo theft before. We went into the department, we walked them through exactly what was going on. Next thing you know, they're busting a huge warehouse and recovering, almost $4 million in stolen freight. Right? They were very enthusiastic and they had never worked it before. And now they go out and they actually teach about it and they speak about it. So I think the enthusiasm is there. I will say as well that over the last couple of years, we're seeing a lot more engagement from Homeland Security and the FBI. In particular, there's been some FBI agents that are now dedicated to mostly doing cargo theft. And when you talk to them, they're very enthusiastic about it, and they're attending the conferences. They're coming to the Tampa National Summit. They came to the summit the last couple of days, and they're there engaging with the industry. So I actually feel pretty good about that right now, even though there's fewer task forces than there used to be. I think we're seeing some good engagement.
Mm-hmm. I'm curious, Scott, because you work with law enforcement. Have you been on any of these busts where they go to a warehouse and they arrest a bunch of people? Have you seen that in person?
In the past, when I was spending time in the field, I've done that. I've been around that. I was at that one that I just talked about in Arizona when that happened. You're not there when they're actually executing the warrant and stuff like that. You can't be there as a civilian, right? That they have to go do that. So you basically work the case with them and you give them everything you can. They finish out the case. There's only so much private sector can do, right? Which is why we need that partnership with law enforcement. And so you do as much as you can as a private sector person that's investigating these types of things. Then you hand it off to law enforcement, and then they'll go execute the warrants and hit the warehouse. And then they usually have private sector engaged after that in going through the warehouse, the contents of the warehouse, I should say, helping to identify who owns it, who sent it. Sure. Law enforcement doesn't have a lot of experience looking through shipping documents and stuff like that unless they're task force dedicated. So, organizations like CargoNet will spend days on the phone with them, helping them find the victim, so to speak, and identify who owns the freight and get it back to the original owners and things like that. So,
sure. Yeah. I'm curious, though, Scott, is this a ring? Is this are these criminals connected many times? Is there a profile to them? How does that look like? I know there's you go on Twitter, there's a lot of I think people commenting like they're kind of like anti-immigration right now in terms of like, because there's a lot of like some truck drivers that have caused deadly accidents that were illegally here. And I'm curious, like, what have you seen from, like, is there like a specific profile like of individuals that are doing this? Are they illegally in the States, or are these usually citizens of the US? Like, have you noticed any connections here?
Yeah, I can't say. I think it would be, taking a wide brush to try and connect those two things. What I always say to people is they're just cargo thieves, right? That's the number one thing I could tell you. What we have seen is this involvement or this movement towards these large international rings. So again, prior to 2020, most of my career, we were dealing with these small regional crews, and they were usually, maybe 8 to 15 in size. They only did straight theft, and straight theft is called straight theft because it's straightforward, meaning they just go out, they're physically there, stealing the tractor and the trailer, or stealing a couple of pallets off of the back of the trailer, things like that. And they were, we knew the crews. We knew who led the crews. You'd pull up a video from a truck stop and you'd say, oh, that's Paul. We know Paul. That's, his crew does this. This is how they move their freight, things like that. And it was almost a bit repetitive at some point, right? Where you're just seeing the same people over and over again. Then that 2020 time hits, and now we see these massive international rings. So that's why you see the increase in strategic theft, because they're overseas. They're in over a dozen or 24 different countries, pulling the strings like a puppeteer over here on crews that they either operate or pay to operate or manipulate to operate, things like that, right? That are the boots on the ground for them. So they're committing the strategic theft from over there, right? But keep in mind too, if you use a double brokering scam as an example, they're getting legitimate truck drivers to go pick up those loads. And those legitimate truck drivers have no idea that they're being manipulated to go pick up those loads. So again, you have somebody that's, thousands of miles away that pretends to be a freight broker and calls a legitimate trucking company. That legitimate trucking company thinks they're talking to a legitimate freight broker, and they're sent to go pick up the widgets, in Dallas and take them to California. And they have no idea that they're being involved in something like this.
But wouldn't the main party though still be in the U.S.? Because like if I just, for example, like let's just say someone has this international crime ring, like they're like, you're saying they're pulling the strings internationally, but like at the end of the day, like there's individuals that are complicit and understand what's happening in the States, and they're necessary for all this to be done, and they're more important than someone overseas. So at the end of the day, like wouldn't the way I see it is like there's criminals in the States that are just using back office support in international offices to help them kind of orchestrate
I think
all
it's
this.
the other way around. I think the head of the snake, so to speak, is overseas, right?
Really?
And the people here are just boots on the ground and regional managers, is basically how we refer to them, right? So you see some really good arrests by law enforcement over the last few months, but you don't see cargo theft going down. Why would that be? That would be because the boots on the ground are easily replaceable. The head of the snake is not, because the head of the snake never stops functioning because they're not being arrested because they're overseas, right? Now, I know federal law enforcement, I believe their intent at some point, I can't speak for them, but I believe their intent at some point is to try and get some cooperation to get the head of the snake over there. But when you're arresting the boots on the ground over here and you don't see the cargo theft go down, you don't see the numbers decline, that tells you that they're almost the secondary portion of it, right? That the lead portion of it is the part that's overseas.
That's interesting. And you mentioned there's like a dozen or 24 countries that are involved, and I'd just be curious to hear which are the top ones. But I'm not sure if Scott, if you want to get into
Yeah,
you don't want to get into that. No worries, no worries.
There's a lot of resources you can find out there.
No.
Especially
Because we should hit those countries, Reed. We should go there, and we should just do a Freight Gong Friday live from these countries and talk to them.
Well, I mean,
go ahead.
It's interesting. It is literally like 1,000 head hydra. I imagine that's kind of how it is. And how do you cut the head off 1,000 snake? How do you cut 1,000 heads off at once to make it stop? I have no idea. But I mean, like, to your point on this kind of strategic theft and all these new vectors of attack that have arisen as a result of kind of the way the freight brokerage, if we just talk about freight brokerage, like works, right? Like and then there's like an arms race within it where these vetting companies have come around. They're building products to help the providers, combat it. But then, it seems like there's always kind of this race between the good and the bad guys on this tech battlefield now. Like how do you see kind of the role that these compliance tools, for lack of a better term, are playing in the fight?
I think that's a great question, Reed, and it's a great topic to talk about, because I think that there's a propensity for the industry to think that, hey, if I just go out and buy this platform, or I go out and buy this new technology, I'm good. And I think I know people, I have friends that work at all of them, right? Well, I probably shouldn't say all, most of them, right? The better known ones. And they'll be the first to tell you, hey, we were never claiming to be the silver bullet. We were trying to be part of the solution. And what do I mean by that? You have to have a foundational process. If you're a freight broker in today's world, you have to have a foundational process on how you vet carriers, right? And a lot of that is through free resources, through just doing some extra checks, not taking, hey, Paul calls me and says, I need you to do this. Okay, Paul, you said you work for ABC Shipper. I'm going to go and I'm going to pull up ABC Shipper website. I'm going to call the number that's on that website, verify that Paul works for that website or works for that shipper. I'm going to just do that one extra check. One of the most common things I get is, hey, we're trying to move freight fast, right? And I always say, when you're involved in a theft, I say, how fast are you moving right now? Right? Now you're dealing with this theft, and it's slowing everything down, right? And it's grinding everything to a halt. So I think these platforms are excellent. I think a lot of them are great resources. And I think if you're going to verify who you work with and you want to do all that, they should be part of your overall process. They should enhance your process. So TAPA, as an example, July 15th, 2025, we released the freight broker security requirements, and it actually provides the perfect foundation. And there's 3 different levels that you can apply for to get audited and certified in, right? Depending on how far you want to go on your process. But it gives an excellent process. And as part of that requirement, it says basically insert platform here or insert the technology here that you want to use. So again, it's part of your process. But if you're looking at this technology or any of these platforms and thinking that, hey, if I just buy this, we're not going to have any more theft, that's not the right way to look at it, because it doesn't work that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're kind of running on time here. So, Scott, I do have a rapid fire close. Would you be ready for a rapid fire close?
I'll try. I'll do my best.
All right. Cargo theft by end of 2026, better or worse?
Flat. I think it's going to be flat. It's flattened out for 2025. And 2024, 2025 kind of flattened out. I think will be flat, maybe a little bit up.
Okay. Most targeted commodity right now?
The bigger bucket of food and beverage is the most targeted commodity, but metals are being hammered right now, as well as frozen meats and seafoods, especially in the Northeast area, right? So when all things are normal, food and beverage is going to be your number 1 targeted commodity, but metals are being hammered right now. And if you dial down to the single most stolen item right now, it's tires.
Wow. Interesting. Okay. One thing every broker should do Monday morning to cut exposure.
Get the freight broker security requirements, develop an entire process on how you're going to vet, slow down just a little bit. I know you're trying to move quickly, but just slow down just a little bit. Make that one extra check, Google that one extra thing, get a whole process in place, and train your frontline staff. All too often, all the knowledge about cargo theft is contained in 3 people someplace. You have to train the people that are dealing with the trucking companies and dealing with the bad guys every day. You have to train them.
Yep. Okay. Carrier red flag you can spot in under 60 seconds.
They have 2 units and you're going to assign them 6 loads. They don't operate in the Southwest and you're hiring them to move a load in the Northeast, or they don't operate in the Southwest and that's where you're hiring them to move a load.
Sure. Final question for today, Scott. Commodity you'd personally never insure.
I saw this question. I'm not sure I have a good answer for that. I think that,
it's not applicable. You'd insure everything.
Yeah, I can't say we'd insure everything, but I don't have anything that really jumps out in my mind. I think, there are tougher commodities for sure, but I think in general, the insurance industry is trying to support the transportation industry. So somewhere with someone, you can usually find coverage for whatever you need to do. You just have to find the right coverage, and you have to make sure that it does what you need it to do.
We have just a minute or two left here, Scott. I know if you could I'm not sure if you saw this, but in the state of Michigan, there's some, I think, bill being passed about greater penalties or for cargo theft. I don't know if you saw. Did you see this? It came out yesterday, I believe.
I didn't see that that particular one, but I will tell you that, if the Corca bill gets passed, so the Corca bill is, made it through the House, made it through markup, right, and is getting really good bipartisan support. The Corca bill would create a federal task force around cargo theft, designate federal prosecutors. So I'd love to see that get passed. I helped write the cargo theft language for that bill, and TAPA and my company have been supporting it as much as possible. But I will say that there are several states across the country that have their own laws around cargo theft: Florida, California, and some others. So this is great to see something like this.
Yeah. So there's truckers stuck in Michigan. Or sorry, there's I'll just read the summary that we have in our newsletter. Michigan lawmakers are pushing tougher penalties for cargo theft with the new bills that could add up to 10 years prison and allow stacked sentences for offenders. So yeah, it's quite. I guess there's a lot of push being made from like the political side, government side of things, which is good. We are at the 2-hour mark. So Scott, thanks for joining us today. I'm sure we'll have you back on our show
Scott.
here.
Thanks,
soon.
guys. Sorry about the technical issues in the beginning.
All good.
But,
all good. We'll get it fixed next time. Yeah, but appreciate you. Appreciate you, Scott, and I'm sure I'll see you at TIA here in a few weeks.
I'll see you there. Awesome.
Cool.
Sweet.
Take
See
care.
ya.
Take care.
Bye. Take care.
Um,
All right. What a show. What a show. And that's Freight Gong Friday for today. March 20th. What's going on?
No, that was good. I'm ready.
It was a good show. It was a good show. We did it. We did it.
Now it's my turn to go get some water or something. I gotta
run
put my life together, bro. All right. See ya.
Next week, by the way, real quick, next week I won't be on Freight Gong Friday. Reed will be doing it live from Matt's. So he's gonna have a special show. If you're at Matt's, if you're listening, make sure to stop by the Truck Parking Club booth and get connected and be on next week's show with Reed. So
Sounds
take
good.
care, everyone. And shout out to Epay Manager for sponsoring today's episode. Take care.
Peace.
And end stream.